Hi, and welcome back to the ongoing series of videos for HârnMaster and running it in Foundry VTT. I am continuing now the videos that talks about the new really fantastic macro support that was introduced with the latest version of HârnMaster for Foundry VTT. And if you haven't watched the introductory video about HârnMaster with macros, and you're not very familiar with JavaScript, you might want to go back and watch that one first. I talk about how to develop and debug these macros. What I'm going to be doing now is I'm going to be walking through the several of the hooks that I have created. I've put these hooks out on the wiki for HârnMaster VTT, and look down here, we've got the hooks, we've got the fumble roll, the shock roll, etc. I'll be going through these here, and they all follow the same structure. So let's jump in. What is a hook? A hook is a macro that gets called regardless of the actor, regardless of the player. It's called at certain points in the execution of the rules. Fumble roll. So after the roll has been made, it will call this fumble roll macro. Or after an injury has been determined, it'll call the injury roll, or what have you. There's a whole bunch of these hooks. They've been written up here again on the HârnMaster wiki. Go to using macros, and it talks about the various data structures that are available for you. But here it has the post-roll hook macros, and these are the various hooks. So there's quite a few. You can hook into when you do weapon defense or weapon attack. Very powerful capabilities here to customize the system to your particular house rules. So let's show what I've done, which is implementing really actually the rules is written, but it just takes things a little bit further. So what we'll do first is we'll look at the, let's take a look at shock roll first. Shock roll, if you fail your shock roll, what I want to have happen is the same thing as if you're in the combat tracker and you press defeated on the enemy. So you'll see here, he turns red. He's not going to be tracked in combat anymore, and we get the big skull here. And if you look in how this is done, on the active effects, there's actually an effect called dead, which is indefinite duration, and it's right there. And then if you select this again, then that goes away. The active effect goes away. I want to duplicate that with a failed shock roll. So let's take a look at how we do this. So HM3 on shock roll. The Foundry, or this isn't base Foundry capabilities. This is something that the developer for HârnMaster has added in, that if you have a macro that matches a hook name, it'll automatically get executed. So this makes it very easy to write your own hooks. You just need to name them correctly, and boom, you're in business. He also passes in roll result. Again, this is not base Foundry. This is something that the developer for HârnMaster has put in, and it makes it so super convenient to use these. So what we do first is we just check the roll result, see if it's a success. And if it is not, then we're going to look for an active effect that already exists of dead. If we do not find one, okay, because remember when we defeated the enemy, it created an active effect here called dead. If we don't find one, then we're going to create one. So this is how you create an active effect. I showed this in the previous videos. Active effect create. I'm passing in the label of dead. I'm passing in the exact same skull icon that's used for the defeated. And I am logging it. But I'm doing a couple additional things. I am setting these flags. And basically what I found out is if I just create an active effect called dead, it doesn't do those extra things that happen if you do things in the combat tracker. So I logged the actor, I defeated the actor, and then I logged the actor, and I looked in the data model to see what needed to be changed. And I determined that I needed to set flags core status ID of dead, core overlay of true. That's what makes it big instead of just the tiny icon. And I also need to go into the combatant and update and say defeated is true. So those are the extra things that I'm doing in order to replicate having defeated the token or the actor via this combat tracker. All right, so let's take a look at how this works. Combat, I'm going to go over here, I'm going to do a shock roll, and I'm going to have that as 10, and I've got a little neat plugin which allows me to do manual dice rolls, or I can just sum it up, and I'm going to say that he rolled a 60. That's a lot of dice, and you see here we get the skull icon. It is large, and in the combat tracker it is red. So he's going to be skipped for future combat rounds. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so that was that. The next one that I want to look at is the Fumble. No, actually, let's look at Stumble next. Stumble is doing the same setup as you've seen now a couple different times in other videos and now in this most recent video. Roll result is success. I'm looking for the active effect already existing. This one is restrained. And if it does exist, I'm going to enable it. Disabled false. And I'm just going to do an update of the active effect. So I'm going to, if it wasn't already enabled, I am enabling it now. And I'm having it last for exactly 1 round. This is the, let's go ahead and undefeat this guy. Okay. This is the net icon that I'm going to be putting in. Boom, just like that. All right. We look at here the effects. We see we've got restrained, net, and this case it's indefinite, and it goes away if you take that away. Okay, now that's gone. I'm doing things a little bit differently. What I'm doing is I'm going to actually set a duration for this. I'm going to have it last exactly 1 round. So if you've got that net icon, that means that you've stumbled and you have to take your next round to get up. And so again, same pattern you've seen before. If the active effect doesn't exist, I'm going to create it. I do need to pass in the icon. I'm using the net SVG, passing in the label restrained, and I'm again having it last for exactly 1 round. And I await active effect create. And that's about it. Oh yeah, I am doing the set flag core status restrain. Again, that's to make it so that it is the this actual icon. So let's take a look at that in action. So go to combat, and we do a stumble roll, and I'm gonna make that an 18. Okay, and you see here he got the net icon. Over here on effects, he got the restrained. It only lasts 1 round. So this is where it's a little bit different. So I'm going to go over here, combat. Next round, that's gone. So now he can do whatever it is that he wants to. Okay. Lastly, let's take a look at the Fumble role. Very similar, but instead of using one of the built-in icons, one of the built-in statuses, I'm doing my own little active effect, which is Fumble. And I am, if it exists, I'm just activating it for 1 round. If it doesn't exist, then I'm going to put a label of Fumble. I'm giving it a completely different icon, just whatever it is that I want. I'm using a icon that came with 0.8, and I'm also having it last for 1 round. Let's close this, go over here to Combat, and let's have him fail the Fumble roll. All right, you see here we have the broken sword icon. We go over here and look at effects. We have the active effect of Fumble. You'll notice also Restrained is still here, but it has been disabled because that 1 round passed. Fumble is in place. We've got the broken sword. If we go through here and advance the combat, it's going to disable it. You'll notice that this icon isn't available in here. This broken sword icon isn't available anywhere in here. And that's because it was a completely custom one that I set up. And so, it's there. Let's go ahead, we'll advance the combat. You see that it actually shows up also in the combat tracker, which is kind of cool. And we go advance to the next round, and boom, it's gone. That is the hooks for HârnMaster in Foundry Virtual Tabletop. I hope you liked this video. I'm going to be making more. We're going to look at automatically laying down spell templates. We're going to be looking at hooking in with things like token FX in order to have special effects when you cast spells. And I'm also going to integrate with Turn Alert, which allows me to do custom things later in the game. So go ahead, hit like, subscribe, and you'll get notified when I upload those new videos. I also tend to broadcast on Discord and in the lithia.com forums. So hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you.